Supreme Court judge issues horrifying warning to Americans. Associate Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas has long been praised for his constitutionalist interpretation of the U.S. Constitution, making him a hero in conservative circles. Justice Thomas himself, however, has typically shied away from public statements, which is arguably appropriate given that Supreme Court justices are expected to remain nonpartisan. In a rare interview on Laura Ingram's new TV program, The Ingram Angle, Justice Thomas gave a dire warning about what he considers to be a danger to the free flow of ideas in the U.S. According to the Washington Times, Justice Thomas suggested American society is becoming too, quote, comfortable with limiting ideas. The widely respected Supreme Court Justice spoke in response to his having been excluded from the Smithsonian's National Museum of African American History and Culture in its inaugural year. Justice Thomas was only added in September, just prior to the museum's one-year anniversary. Before that, the only place the constitutionalist justice was mentioned was in an entry about his controversial confirmation hearings, which were marred by discussions about unfounded sexual harassment allegations from a former aide. Conservatives largely saw the omission as a sign of conservative bias among the administrators at the Smithsonian, but Justice Thomas maintains he didn't care that he was originally excluded, even if his friends and associates did. People who cared about me obviously did care, but no, not really, he said. The justice then explained that the seeming censorship of ideas runs contrary to the open-mindedness he encountered during the intellectual formation of his youth. I grew up in a time when I was just exposed to a wonderful range of ideas in a segregated library. Justice Thomas explained, going on to say that he was exposed to a wide array of diverse thinkers, from Booker T. Washington to W.E.B. Du Bois. So, you had this range of ideas, and I think we're getting quite comfortable in our society limiting ideas and exposure to ideas, Justice Thomas continued. And maybe that's a symptom of it. I don't know, but I don't think it's good for the next generation and the people who will be learning. Justice Thomas argued that America benefits when its citizens are willing to listen to a diversity of opinions and engage with those whose views differ from their own. I think that today we seem to think that everything has to be one size fits all, and people can have opinions that make us uncomfortable, or ideas that make us uncomfortable, or that we don't agree with. He also took issue with protesters who disrespect the national anthem and flag, stating that we need to be bound together by a common culture and values. I'm not surprised, he said in reference to the protesters. I mean, what binds us? What do we all have in common anymore? I think we have to think about that. When I was a kid, even as we had laws that held us apart, there were things that we held dear and that we all had in common. And I think we always talk about e pluribus unum. What's our unum now? We have the pluribus. What's the unum? Justice Thomas concluded by declaring American history, tradition, and cultures as worth defending. Even if many Americans no longer feel they are, I think it's a great country. Some people have decided that the Constitution isn't worth defending, that history isn't worth defending. that the culture and principles aren't worth defending. And certainly, if you are in my position, they have to be worth defending. That's what keeps you going. That's what energizes you. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. So true. And notice that they didn't want him in the museum, right? Because he spoke about the Constitution and sticking up for it and respecting our country and the free flow of ideas instead of trying to suppress people's ideas. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.